Okay, it has been 3 weeks since I had my daughter, and I thought I would go through my birth plan. I never actually posted my birth plan because I didn't want comments on it, but now I'm ready to post it, and I'm going to tell you guys what I ended up getting and what I didn't. For context, I had a VBAC on May 15th. Okay, so starting out at the top, environment, I wanted calm and quiet space, dim lights. I had that. I did have her in the morning, so it was kind of bright in the morning, but I mainly just didn't want lights. I wanted like natural light or for the lights to be off throughout the night, and I had that. For labor, I wanted freedom of movement and wireless monitoring. Because I was going for a VBAC, they wanted to monitor me the entire time, which was fine with me. To be honest, I kind of had that because up until I got admitted to the hospital, I was not really being monitored all that much. And then I also had freedom of movement even after I got the epidural, because it was a walking epidural. I did not move around a ton because I was exhausted. So I did lie in bed and just use the peanut ball, but I did have that. As for allowing my water to break naturally, I did not end up doing that. I do not regret it though. They did ask me whether or not they could break my water, and they explained to me that it would help speed things along, and ultimately I kind of just trusted that it would. The reason why I wanted it to break naturally was because with my first son, right after they broke my water, I ended up in emergency C-section. There are other things that led to that. It was not just the water breaking that led to that, but I did want it to break naturally. However, I trusted in my team this time and allowed them to break it, and things worked out in my favor. Ability to eat and drink, yes, I had that. Access to a birthing ball, shower, squat bar, peanut ball, I had all of that. The only thing that I really used was the birthing ball and the peanut ball. The peanut ball is what dilated me, and then the birthing ball is kind of what got me to, I think, like 4 centimeters, and then after that I just used the peanut ball in bed. The saline lock instead of an IV, I did not have that, but that is because I opted to get the epidural. With an epidural, they make you get a IV prior to that, but I didn't end up getting my IV until probably like 11 p.m. and then I had her at 11, so I only had it for about 12 hours. Pitocin, I was super against getting Pitocin this time because my body did not react well to Pitocin with my son, and that is what led to my emergency C-section. It caused his heart rate to spike, and then he was born within like a half hour via emergency C-section, so I was super against getting it this time. They did mention that they wanted to give it to me, and I'm very happy that we didn't. The only reason why they mentioned that they wanted to give it to me was because they wanted to speed things along. However, they ended up doing a cervical check and they realized that I actually was dilating on my own, so there was no need for Pitocin. But if they would have discussed it again, I would have said no to Pitocin. I do not want it. It is a last resort, and I had only been in the hospital for like maybe 8 hours at this point, so I was like, no, I don't want it. Few cervical checks. I think I did have a lot more than I probably would have wanted, but it's because I was in and out of the hospital for like 2 days before they actually admitted me, so I definitely had a lot more than I would have wanted. As for pain relief, natural methods, yes. Heat I did not use, like my heating pad, I never used it, but the TENS machine and water, I ended up taking a bath at home, and that really helped. TENS machine was number one. Like, I would not have made it through labor without it. As for the epidural, they only asked me once if I wanted the epidural. That was before I gave my birth plan, and it was also right when I first got admitted. Or actually, I wasn't even admitted. I was just doing a cervical check, and they asked if it was something that I wanted. I told them no, and then when I went back to the hospital a few days later, I said, yes, I need it. I've been in labor for 4 days. I'm over it. Please give me the epidural. Ability to push in different positions. I pushed on my back. There was no reason for me to push in any other position, but I'm sure if I would have asked and I wanted to, then they would have allowed me to. The ability to tear naturally and no episiotomy, this was a big one for me. I was this close to getting an episiotomy, and I'm super happy that I was able to get her out on my own, but pretty much her heart rate was dropping the entire time that I was pushing, and they kept telling me, like, we need to get her out, we need to get her out. And the doctor ended up holding up the scissors and said, if you don't get her out on the next push, we're gonna have to do an episiotomy because her heart rate is dangerously low. I ended up getting her out on my own, thank God. I am super happy that she asked me though, and like didn't just go ahead and do it. I've heard horror stories of people saying that they got an episiotomy and like literally had no idea. So I'm very happy that she mentioned to me that she was about to, and then also told me later that she never ended up having to. As hands off as possible, I wouldn't say so, because like I said, they needed to get her out super quick, so I do feel they were a little bit handsy. I did get immediate skin to skin. However, they did take her after like a minute. They literally cut her cord and then took her because her heart rate was so low. The pediatrician had to check her out right away, so I did not get my little golden hour. They did take her across the room, checked her out though, and then gave her back to me, so that was good. As for dad and mom catching the baby, this did not happen. There was not time. And then natural placenta delivery. Yes, I don't think that they did anything to get the placenta out. Not that I'm aware of anyways. Okay, and then at the top, as for newborn procedures, delayed procedures, they did delay procedures, so they didn't do like her weight, height, anything. They gave her back to me right after the pediatrician checked her out. As much skin to skin, I feel like I did get that. Like, I definitely don't feel robbed of that. I am happy that they gave her to me right after she was born, and that I was able to like feel her on my chest, and that they checked her out really quickly and then gave her back. So I don't feel any type of way about that. Delayed bath, yeah, they never even asked to do a bath in the hospital. We did one like a few days later at home. Baby did not need to be taken out of the room, thankfully, so we didn't need to do that. And then baby was a girl. As for the umbilical cord, I did not get to wait until it stopped pulsing. Like I said, they did cut it. Well, Jude cut it right away, and that's because they had to take her, but I don't really feel any type of way about that. That was okay. And then he did get to cut the cord, which was nice. He never got to cut the cord with with Elin, so I'm really happy he got to do it this time. As for feeding, exclusively breastfed, yes. Formula was not offered or anything because it didn't need to be. And then because I was going for a VBAC, I think it's super important to have that in case of a repeat C-section section on your birth plan. I did have that. Thankfully, we didn't need to use it, but I did have it in case we needed it. Overall, I am super happy and grateful and thankful for the way that everything turned out. I definitely don't feel any type of way about my birth plan. Like, I don't think that I was robbed of anything. I felt that way and I had a lot of feelings towards that with my son. So I'm really happy that I don't have that trauma aspect that I did with my first. But I will say having a birth plan is so important. I never had one with Elin, and I think that a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the interventions that happened was because I never had one. And when you're in labor and literally in that state, I feel like doctors take advantage in a way, and like they will come to you and ask or just do things without asking. But if you have a birth plan, you don't really have to advocate for yourself as much. That's just my personal experience. I really wish that I would have had one with Elin, and it's one of my biggest regrets. So definitely glad that I had one this time. And if I have any more children in the future, would definitely have a birth plan and would recommend one.